What drives someone to kill their best friend and flee across countries to escape justice? This is not just a story of murder, but of betrayal, manipulation, and a chase across borders. Watch until the end and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories. As twilight fell over the twin rivers of Liangjiang, the mountain shadows lengthened, and a crimson glow spilled over a silent lake. On a winding trail nearby, a couple out for a quiet evening walk stopped in their tracks. Amid the low shrubs was an odd sight, a silver-gray suitcase, seemingly untouched, lying still as if forgotten. A foul, metallic stench filled the air. Curious, the man tapped it with a stick. It didn't move. Something was inside. Alarmed, he dialed the police. 20 minutes later, under the stark beam of flashlights, the suitcase was unzipped. What they found froze the entire scene in silence. Inside was the body of a young woman, fully clothed but grotesquely contorted to fit into the case. Her face was unrecognizable. This was no accident. It was a calculated attempt to conceal a brutal murder. Fingerprint analysis soon revealed her identity. Li Tianyu, 27, originally from Guizhou province. Once a receptionist at a beauty clinic, she'd recently left her job to sell cosmetics online. On the surface, her life appeared ordinary. No debts, no criminal history, and no close relatives in the city. But neighbors mentioned a close friend she often talked about. Sister Zhao. The police started investigating this mysterious woman, but when they arrived at her listed address, they found something even more disturbing. Hong Zhao, a spa businesswoman in her early 30s and the alleged best friend of the victim, had vanished. Her phone was off, her house locked. No one had heard from her in over 72 hours. One woman dead in a suitcase. Another, missing without a trace. A chilling mystery had begun. At Zhao's apartment, the scene was eerie. No signs of forced entry. Everything neat. Even a half-full cup of chrysanthemum tea sat undisturbed on the table, as if time had stopped the moment she disappeared. Security footage showed Zhao entering the elevator on Christmas Eve, December 24, dressed in a black gown and sunglasses, accompanied by a masked man in a baseball cap. They seemed familiar with each other, no hesitation or tension, but that was the last time anyone saw her. Her phone had gone off at 9 p.m. that night. Social media inactive. Spa employees assumed she was traveling. Zhao, it turned out, had lived with Tianye for almost 2 years. They were once close, with Zhao supporting Tianye's online business. But now, Zhao was missing, and Tianye was dead. Was Zhao the next victim? Or was she hiding something? Investigators uncovered that Zhao had recently canceled the lease on a suburban house in Shanghai. The landlord recalled she'd come by around dusk with a young man and a silver suitcase. Coincidence? Or the same suitcase that held Tianyu's remains? Evidence started pointing toward Zhao's involvement, but more was needed. Then came the break. A cosmetic order. Police traced Tianyu's sales history and found a delivery made to the same neighborhood where the suitcase was discovered. In one case, she even asked a customer to pick it up from a friend's house. That friend was Zhao. Now, the line connecting Tianyu's death and Zhao's disappearance was no longer just suspicion. One woman was dead. Another missing, and a third, the man in the cap, was hiding in the shadows. He had no name, no phone, no social media, but he had been there silent, timely, and deliberate. When the elevator footage from December 24 was analyzed, something stood out. The man never looked at the camera, not once. Every step was calculated to avoid facial recognition. A forensic video analyst noticed a unique detail. The man's watch, a limited edition piece sold only through a luxury online store. Using purchase data, police narrowed it down to a few dozen customers in Shanghai. One name stood out: Zhang Guang. Guang, 28, was a freelance model. No criminal record, no history of violence, but he had lived with Hong Zhao for over a year, and he had appeared with her in several of her beauty live streams. What was he doing with Zhao the night Tianyu was murdered? Were they running or executing a plan? Financial records revealed Guang received over 200 million VND just days after Tianyu's death from an unknown source. Some suspected it was hush money for something unspeakable. Police found Guang's mother in Changzhou. She said, "He told me he was leaving for something important and not to tell anyone." Then came disturbing revelations about Zhao. She had confided to friends that she wanted to escape someone else's shadow. Tianyu was the face of the business, loved for her innocence and charm. But Zhao had been the one managing everything: inventory, streams, secrets. Perhaps she wanted to flip the script. Eliminate Tianyu, take the spotlight, split the rewards. If that theory was true, then Guang wasn't just a suspect, he was the killer, and Zhao, his willing accomplice. But the duo had vanished after December 25, No hotels, no bank cards, no online trace. They had evaporated. Until one day in late January, someone spotted a strange man in Guangzhou, bandaged arm, nervous eyes, always glancing over his shoulder. Police moved in. This time, he wouldn't get away. Guangzhou, glitzy, chaotic, the perfect hideout for fugitives. On January 30, a street vendor near Lianhua Night Market reported a tall man wearing a cap and full-face mask odd, considering no one else was masking at the time. He paid in cash, never bargained, never spoke, always looking around, uneasy. A manhunt began. Officers scoured CCTV, tracked anonymous rentals, and checked unregistered hostels. After 3 days, they found a lead. A guest under the alias Liu Bang had rented a room in a nameless inn. He refused all cleaning services. On February 3, police raided the room. It was empty, but left behind was a single item, an old phone with no SIM card, used only on Wi-Fi. It contained just one video file. They pressed play. It was Zhao, gaunt, pale, hands trembling as she recorded herself against a riverside window. "I can't take this anymore. I didn't kill anyone, but I know who did. If you're watching this, Zhang Guang, please, don't look for me. It's over." Then silence. Using the Wi-Fi signature and the view from the window, police traced the video to a rental apartment in Hai Châu District, Da Nang, Vietnam, over 10 kilometers away. A horrifying truth emerged. The duo had illegally crossed into Vietnam from Quang Ninh and were hiding in Da Nang. But something had gone wrong. Zhao fled. Now, the hunt shifted to Vietnam. Vietnamese police joined the search, tracing forged IDs, visa entries, and remittance records. They discovered Zhao had visited a hospital for a shoulder wound claimed to be from a fall, but likely a concealed cut. Was there a falling out? Perhaps over money. Perhaps Zhao wanted out, but Guang wouldn't let her. And when things turned violent, she ran with evidence. What evidence? On February 6, Zhao was arrested at Da Nang Airport, trying to board a flight to Ho Chi Minh City with a fake passport. In her bag was a password-protected USB. When decrypted, the contents chilled investigators to the bone. A 6-minute audio recording. "Zhao, are you sure?" Guang. "Too late. She knows too much. If Tianyue lives, we get nothing." Zhao, "I don't want blood on my hands." Guang. "You already do." There was no longer room for doubt. Zhang Guang had killed Li Tianyue, and Hong Jiao had helped. But now Guang knew she'd turned on him, and the hunt had just become more dangerous. With the confession tape confirmed, Interpol issued a red notice. Zhang Guang was now a wanted fugitive across Asia. He was no longer the mild-mannered model with white-rimmed glasses. He was a predator in retreat. Using Zhao's testimony, police retraced his escape route. After Zhao fled, Guang traveled by train to Hanoi, avoiding airports. There, under the alias Win Tuong Ka, he rented a grimy room in Hong Mai district. No phone, no internet. But he slipped up. He kept a journal. On February 12, during a sweep of budget rentals, police discovered a small leather notebook hidden behind a ceiling panel. The entries were chilling. "I saw the knife slice her throat. I saw the blood. I saw Jiao throw up and cry, but I felt nothing. Maybe I'm just not human. But Jiao is weak. She'll betray me. I must disappear before she opens her mouth." The final page read, "Mok Bai border crossing. February 14. Another escape attempt. Southern border forces were mobilized. AI-enhanced composite sketches of Guang disguised in various ways were distributed to every checkpoint. At dawn on February 14, a tall man in a conical hat and mask joined the line at Mok Bai, heading for Cambodia. "Name?" asked a guard. "Nguyen Tuong Ka." "Take off the mask." Tell the truth." As he hesitated, officers pounced. He reached for a knife to slash his own wrist, but too late. He was pinned, disarmed, arrested. Time, 5:38 a.m. At the station, he refused to speak. But his eyes cold, hollow, unnerved even the most seasoned detectives. Jiao was brought in for confrontation. They stared at each other. Former lovers, accomplices, murderers. Jiao whispered, "Why did you kill her?" Guang smirked, "Because she talked too much. And you knew when to shut up until you got scared." "You're weak, Jiao." She wept. He turned to the camera and calmly confessed, "Yes, I killed Li Tianyu. I planned it. I did it. I controlled Jiao. And I'd do it again." April 2024. Guangdong People's Court, China. The closed-door trial of Zhang Guang began, charged with premeditated murder and illegal border crossing. Though private for diplomatic and witness protection reasons, Chinese media called Guang the most dangerously intelligent killer of the decade. The evidence was overwhelming. The confession tape, Guang's journal, Zhao's detailed testimony, a blood-stained cutter with his wiped but recovered fingerprints. Guang didn't deny anything. I don't need a lawyer. I did it. I accept the consequences. And if I could go back, I'd do it again. Not a flicker of remorse. No apology, no tears. After 2 days, the verdict was delivered. Death penalty by lethal injection. In Vietnam, Hong Zhao faced charges of aiding and abetting a criminal, failure to report a serious crime. Her defense presented strong psychological evidence. She was manipulated, threatened, emotionally dependent. She confessed, cooperated, and never directly committed the murder. The court sentenced her to 3 years in prison, no suspension. In prison, Zhao changed, silent, studious, reflective. A page from her diary, read during sentencing. I loved a murderer. I thought I was loved, but I was just a tool. I thought I was forced, but I chose silence. I don't ask for forgiveness. I only hope no one ends up like me. Tianyue's parents couldn't attend due to illness, but sent a letter. We never got to hold our daughter one last time. We don't know how much she suffered, but may those responsible never find peace of mind. The letter was read aloud in court. Many wept. Li Tianyue, 28 years old, once dreaming of opening a mental health center in Shanghai, was now only a photograph and an autopsy file. The case closed. The media moved on. But in law schools and crime psychology forums, the name Zhang Guang remains a case study in intelligence turned malevolent. As for Hong Zhao, after her release, she disappeared into anonymity, living quietly in a remote village, seeking redemption through silence. In the end, this wasn't just about a murder. It was about silent ambition, manipulation, and how darkness often hides behind the most ordinary faces. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more true crime narratives.